From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is a Varsity Update. I'm Jenny Carlson. It's getting into late December, and that means it's almost time for all state and all city football teams to come out. Scott Wright joins us on the phone. And Scott, give us a little bit of the nuts and bolts of all of this. How close are we to those being released and people across the state learning what honors we've handed out?
Well, we're getting very close. The nomination forms are coming in. Coaches, you still got time to get it in, but we need it soon because we are working on this pretty hard right now. The way the process will work, we will release our selections for the first team, all-state team, on the morning of December 21st. It's a Monday morning, but that'll just be the really simple, basic release. Hey, here's our first team selections. Then on January 3rd, that's a Sunday, in the newspaper and online on the Oklahoman on newsok.com, we will have the full-blown celebration of our all-state team like we do every year. All the stories on all the players, videos, photos, all of that stuff. First team, second team, honorable mention. The whole works will be in the newspaper on January 3rd.
Now, our all-city teams, little all-city, big all-city, will precede that all-state team, correct?
They will. They'll actually follow that on the Monday and Tuesday, January 4th and 5th.
Scott, give us a little bit more information about selections because there's obviously a lot of different honors teams out there. How do you and Jacob Unruh, our other high school writer, how do you guys go about the selections, and give us a little bit of information about how that's done, criteria, and that sort of thing?
It takes on a lot of there's a lot of different avenues we travel down to gather information. Obviously the nomination forms are one of the biggest because that's where the coach has his chance to tell us, hey, here were our best guys, and here's what they did this year. As part of those nomination forms, we also ask the coaches to nominate players from other teams that they saw this year. So that helps us get a better idea of who else out there from a team that we didn't see very much or didn't see at all, and that helps because Jacob and I understand that coaches know this game better than we do. They know talent better than we do, and we trust in their opinions about who's really good out there. So that helps us a lot to get us started. We look at all district teams, all conference teams that get selected. We've got a lot of those coming in right now as the season has finally wound down. So we look at Player of the Year honors that come in with those things. We go off of what we've seen ourselves in person at games that we've been to. We talk to as many people as we can to get feedback about certain guys. So there's a lot of information gathering from a lot of different places that goes into this, and we try to sort of boil it all down to figure out who deserves what. There's a little bit of a juggling act between pure talent versus special accomplishments of a team. There are going to be guys that make the all-state team who aren't going on to play college football, but they earn the right to be on the all-state team because of what they accomplished in a special season. And then there are some guys that maybe their numbers weren't as great as somebody else, but they are a special talent, and coaches have recognized that, and they've nominated them for that, and that earns them a spot. So that's probably one of the toughest things that we have to do is juggle that in between talent and accomplishment, and try to decide who are the 26 guys and the coach that deserve to be on the first team of our all-state selection team.
Yeah, Scott. Lots of people wonder: is this just seniors? No, it's all classes of kids. It's not a recruiting ranking either, and you're talking about all classifications. So you guys are you're looking at 8-man players versus those 6A1 guys. There's a huge challenge in that. And but like I said, I think and what you hit on is probably most important for people to remember. We're not trying to replicate the rivals rankings or the scout rankings. This is based on a lot of other factors, which obviously, like you say, there's a challenge in that.
There absolutely is. Yeah, you know, it's always tough when you get to this point. There are guys who have Division I offers, but maybe they didn't have the same level of accomplishment of another guy, or guys who had a bunch of had really ridiculous statistics, but maybe they did it at a different level, and it doesn't carry the same value as a guy who did it at 4A or 5A. I mean, it's just there are so many variables that we have to weigh. It can get pretty tough, and honestly, having looked over this team quite a bit over the last 2 weeks as we've been trying to prepare to get to this point, this is going to be one of the toughest years that we've had. We made a preliminary list just of guys that we knew about, and there are always guys that we don't know about at this point in the season still, whose nomination forms are going to come in, and we're going to be like, oh wow, we got to take a look at this guy. But our preliminary list was really long, and that's it's going to be a really tough process to grind this down and whittle it down to those top selections.
Right, and remember, folks, we only pick the number of players that are out there on the field. So unlike some of these other honors teams that have multiple quarterbacks or too many wide receivers or just have an offense or a defense that goes over 11, we have an actual team that could be fielded if called upon. And by the way, I'll repeat those dates. Team comes out, the basic information of who made first team All-State comes out Monday, December 21st, and then you'll want to check out our special coverage on Sunday, January 3rd. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.